Hi everyone. I apologize for all the background noise. I'm not really sure what is going on. But just to briefly discuss what we had to read for this module. So I thought all of the theories were interesting. I think they all kind of interrelated a little bit. Intersect, I guess, is a better word. I also kind of took the time to think about the theories in connection with other things. So for me, I thought that, and I apologize, I'm looking at my notes, for me that I think that these modules fit well with the Strengths Finder and the DISC assessment, particularly Kolb's theory of experiential learning. And I think the diagram on page 140 of the text kind of reminded me of the DISC assessment in terms of the styles and how they were broken up into categories. I took the DISC assessment at the beginning of the semester as part of a group training for ACE and my position as the GA. In looking at the chart on page 140, I see that they're kind of similar in terms of how they're broken up and how they kind of lay out the areas of how students learn and learning styles and what suits them best. I think like with the DISC assessment, with Kolb's theory, you kind of fall somewhere on a spectrum of having each of the models. So for Kolb's, it would be accommodator, diverger, observation, and experimentation. And I think that we all kind of fall within certain aspects of these categories. We all have a portion of them, but there tends to be one category that we kind of resonate most with. And that's kind of how the DISC assessment works too. So I thought that that was kind of interesting to, I guess, kind of compare the two theories and see kind of how they relate to each other, I guess. I think that each theory or module kind of shows how, as students, we are constantly learning, constantly developing through our experiences. I think particularly with Schlossberg's theory, transition theory, I think that really resonates with me currently as a student transitioning from undergrad to then being a full-time working professional for about a year until graduate school. So I think that that theory kind of resonates the most with me, as well as kind of my experience right now with our academic advising. I think that for my students that I advise, they would kind of fall into what Schlossberg refers to as the anticipated transitions, because that is something that they knew they would be transitioning from high school to college. They anticipated this transition, and kind of I think my transition would also be, for the most part, anticipated as well, just because I was applying to graduate programs. I knew that if I got in somewhere, I would be transitioning from full-time working professional to graduate student. And I think that the 4 S's of Schlossberg's theory kind of are very important to understand as student affairs professionals, so that way we know what phase or what stage students are at in terms of transitioning from whether it be school to work, work to school, high school to college, whatever their transition is. I think that the 4 S's, so situation, self, support, and strategies, all kind of help us as professionals relate to where they're at in terms of their transition and how we can better support them and help them through transitioning, because that's not something that I think is easy for students, especially those transitioning from high school and living with their parents to kind of being on their own. So that's kind of what I had really resonated with the most for this module, and applying it to myself and my learning experiences with what we're doing with athletic advising. So I look forward to listening to everyone's videos, and I hope you guys have a good weekend.